we're going to have a conversation about manifestation because we both realize that there are some things that we both did separately to manifest things in our lives that we both really wanted, and we want to be able to share those things with you.
Yeah, as we talked about it, we realized that those things were consistent. So we were wondering what was happening in our lives currently and what were our challenges and why weren't they happening. But when we actually backtracked, we found out that some of these things that we did were actually the same things. So we realized, wait a second, there's actually like a concrete way to do this. We might be overcomplicating the process. So we're just going to dive into some of those things and really find out what are the key components that really made them successful.
All right, so we'll just dive right in.
Where did we leave off yesterday? Oh yeah, where the manifestations of each other like overlapped. I was talking about with like some of the difficulties that I was having and like trying to make sense of it. Cause I keep going back to like an old successful manifestation that I had and then trying to make sense of it for future ones.
Right.
And the
like
one,
what did you actually do to get there?
Yeah. And when we talked about it, like both of ours had so many overlapping like similarities. It was crazy.
Right.
So like just to, add context, like the one that I did successfully was a senior engineering role that I was like stuck on for like, I don't know, I would say like kind of intermittently throughout a year, but like the past like 6 months, I really wanted this job title. And I was like really caring about it a lot. Like at work, I would say, oh, does this person think I'm like senior level? Am I at this level? And certain actions I would do with certain feedback I would get, I would kind of like be in my head about it. But then I got to a point where I just, thought to myself, I don't care if it ever happens. Like I feel like a senior. And then it just started unfolding. And there's a lot of different like nuance and details in between. But I was like, what was the thing that made it happen? Like, this is what happened. We were talking about what got us to a point where we didn't care anymore about the 3D.
Right.
Like that was the most interesting point. Like, because we have things right now that we're trying to manifest. Like you have certain things and I have certain things, and we're like, what is blocking it? Okay, well, let's think about the past ones.
Why isn't it happening? Right.
And I remember the commonality was we both said we don't care.
That we didn't care.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when it happened. And here's another interesting point. I didn't even know I was manifesting in the past. So the times that I successfully manifested, I didn't know I was manifesting.
Right.
Because it was so natural.
Right.
So then when we make this, whole like process to it, we make it unnatural. But like, so before I was manifesting this, senior role, I thought to myself, what would a senior do? Like if I actually want to be one, like what do I have to do? And I would like watch the seniors and they would ask a lot of questions and, they would talk up in meetings and they felt confident with their choices. And, one of the big things was they talked a lot in meetings. So I was like, you know what, I need to talk more in meetings. Mm-hmm. So I just naturally started doing some of these things, just, showing myself I am this person I say I am. But nothing was happening. So I was like, all right, let me manifest this because I cared a lot. So I started doing sats for like 5 to 10 days. I don't remember the exact amount of time. I did the same scene in my head all of those days. And then I just like forgot about it. I don't know what happened. I guess like I saturated my subconscious. I didn't even realize that it worked. I just forgot about it. And then over the course of a week after forgetting about it, it was like the root was growing. And I just had like this moment at a meeting where something happened and I thought to myself, you know what? Like I feel like a senior. I don't care when this happens. Like I already know who I am. It doesn't even matter. And the reason that moment stuck out to me was because it was so profound. Like I don't have a lot of moments where I'm like, you know what? Like I feel good. Like I'm satisfied with my life right now. Like I don't need anything. Like I have everything I need. And I remember, and then you also said that you had a very similar moment where you realized you were happy with your life. You don't need something.
So the same exact thing happened to me.
Yeah.
So clearly that is how you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to the point of doing that is the hardest part for us as human beings with crazy thoughts and all kinds of things. But like that happened to me too. So this is a crazy story. I told you this yesterday. I was trying to get pregnant for 23 years. 23 years. So Jason and I have been married for 27. 23 years of them, I wanted to get pregnant the whole time. And I did all kinds of things. Like I was trying to get myself healthy and eating the right things and going to doctors and trying to figure out what was wrong. And so, like I kind of obsessed over it. Like I was trying to do all the things. I was manifesting and I was meditating on it and all the things that, they usually say you need to do to manifest something. And then while I was in the process of me actually like trying to get healthy and like make my body healthy, and I was working out every day and doing yoga, and I just was happy with my job, I was happy in my relationship and all that, I got to a point where I didn't care about it anymore. Like where I was just like, and I remember this moment, it was so profound because I was sitting in my yoga room, I was doing yoga, and I was like, man, I'm just so content and so fulfilled in my life right now. Like I don't need anything. And I wasn't even thinking about that. Like that didn't even come up in my mind. And then sure enough, a few weeks later, I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant.
23 years.
23 years. Like that's
the only time that you
unheard of.
realized you didn't care anymore and you were happy
I didn't
is
care
when
anymore.
it happened.
That's when it happened.
That's
when
time,
it happened.
yeah.
And it's like a lot of people think it's a cliche when they say like just relax and it'll happen. Just relax and you'll get pregnant, or just relax, whatever it is that you want comes to you. But it's actually true.
I think
that's actually how it works.
I think it's interesting to point out too that it's not like you relaxed to get something. It came as a natural byproduct.
Exactly. Like I wasn't relaxing because I wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
I was just happy with my life at that point, and I wasn't trying anymore. I wasn't like, I'm working out so that this will happen. I'm doing yoga so this will happen. I'm eating healthy food so this... No, I was actually doing it for myself at that point. Like I got to a point where I was moving myself forward, and I had just forgotten about the situation that I had been trying to manifest.
Well, what were the techniques you were doing? Because like if we're realizing that the end goal, the final marker is realizing you don't care anymore, you're happy without it, you enjoy your life, which really translates to your subconscious, I have this, but it feels like in your reality, like I don't need it.
Right.
What were the techniques that you were doing to like get you there?
I mean, I wouldn't even call it techniques because it just was a gradual, natural thing that happened. Like I had initially started doing all of those things because I wanted to manifest a pregnancy, but it eventually just evolved into me being happy with where I was at. You know what I mean?
So you weren't.
So
you were just like...
it just evolved into it. Like I got to a place where those things made me content, and I was content in the situation that I was in. Everything had just aligned perfectly.
So really the technique for you was just focusing on yourself. Like
focusing
putting
on
importance
myself.
away from it.
Right. And like noticing and being mindful that I was happy with where I was at. You know what I mean?
It was basically a gratitude habit.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
I would definitely call it that.
I think that's interesting too, because like people often say like, oh, you have to focus on yourself and have gratitude, and like at first it doesn't make sense like why that's important.
Right.
Because like it doesn't, like, how does being grateful mean that I get this thing? Like, okay, I can just be grateful, don't I get $1 million? Like if I'm grateful, wouldn't I have everything come at me at once? And it's like that's not the case. So it's like, well, why does gratefulness and just lessening the importance in that area lead to that? There was probably a time when you were like visualizing it some degree.
And I was just thinking that, like, literally because you were like, what are the techniques that you were doing? Yeah, it's not like something that I just completely forgot about and never wanted again or whatever. Like, there were points where, I'd visualize, like, myself holding a baby, or I'd visualize, me and Jason, like, going to the beach with the kids or whatever. Like, it's just, but they were more natural things, and, like, and it wasn't something that I was attaching to. And that's another key. That's another thing we were talking about is attachment and creating obstacles that our subconscious is deciphering as, oh, we don't have this. That's the key. Like, forcing it is never going to be the way to make it happen. Like, if I'm saying, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to visualize it, I'm going to do these techniques, and I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to be open, and I'm going to, you know, like, I feel like the forcing of it is what
makes it worse.
Obstacles.
Yeah.
You know, because like, you're telling your subconscious, okay, I have to do this to get this.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. Your subconscious is saying, so we don't have it because we have to do this thing to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, you can't have anything you want until you feel whole first. And the way to feel whole is to lessen the importance of other things, which is a detachment, which is what you're saying. But also, like, then people might be confused. They might say, well, if I'm just detached from everything, wouldn't I get everything? And then the idea is like, well, you told your subconscious, I am this thing by visualizing, and you nurtured it with, I am full
with
as
the
a
positive,
person.
the positive self-talk, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do. And that's what we came up with last night, was that, okay, so basically, well, I think you explained it a little bit better, but basically, like, what you have to do, or not have to do, but you get to do, is that you...
That was your point. That was a good point.
Yes, you get to do sats at night. And doing sats, basically, you're just visualizing, like, what it is that you already know you have.
How do you tie all these things in?
Right.
Where does visualization come in? Like, what's the mechanic? Like, how do we break this down? And what we were talking about and discovered together was the reason you do visualizing is you give your subconscious the blueprint. And the way to give it the blueprint is you say, this is what we are.
Right.
And because your subconscious is always pulling in what it believes it is. So a good way to do this, to inject a belief, is doing sats. Like, at night when your resistance is lowered, you can imprint your subconscious easily. So when you're falling asleep and you visualize a scene, your subconscious reads it as, oh, this is what we are. Right. So then throughout the day, your job, when there's resistance, so you can't really get through to your subconscious, but you can through repetition. But during the day, it's hard to say, I'm happy and I have a kid. I'm happy and I have a kid, when you clearly don't. But what you can do is ignore that problem. You cannot feed the lack.
Right.
So what that translates to your subconscious is, at night you say, this is who I am, and then during the day when you're not contradicting and you feel whole, your subconscious only sees, okay, I have a child and I'm happy, okay, because you did it at night, and then all day you're not contradicting it, so it believes you.
Right. All day you're saying, I'm happy, I'm content, my life is wonderful. Like, and you don't even have to make it about, like, I'm saying, I'm happy I have a child. You don't even have to do that, because you already told your subconscious that that's what it is you're happy about. Right. So the subconscious is only understanding. The subconscious isn't seeing what's happening in the 3D.
Right.
It doesn't technically see that you're sitting here all by yourself, not with a kid.
Yeah,
It just knows that you are feeling fulfilled and content.
Right, because its language is feeling. So, like, your subconscious isn't always like when you're walking around throughout the day, you're consciously seeing, like, I'm consciously seeing you.
Right.
But the only thing my subconscious sees is, oh, I'm excited, engaged in whatever conversation.
Exactly.
I feel good.
Right.
I'm in a flow state or whatever. But if, you decide what mening you give to things when you consciously process it and decide what it is. It
only knows what you're telling it.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand, like, I'm seeing a palm tree and I love palm trees. It just knows that I'm excited and I love something in front of me.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we're telling it constantly, that through doing the sats at night and doing the visualizations of what it is that you are manifesting, and then telling it during the day, I'm happy and fulfilled with this. Yeah. Because it's saying, oh, you're happy and fulfilled with having a family and having children? Okay, that sounds good. Because if you use different types of verbiage, like, I really wish I had a baby. Like, then it's going to say, okay, well, I thought we did, but I
Yeah,
guess we don't.
exactly.
So there's an obstacle here.
And like during the day, it's so like the reason why it's so important to not feed the lack is because it's hard to feed what you want during the day if it's literally not there.
Right.
Like, because that can turn into exhausting so fast. Like,
So fast.
yeah. So like, but what you can do is not feed the negative. Okay, and then but then you just feed the positive at night. So like, if you just do that combination, you can. It's basically limitless. Like,
Right.
like, you know, you're telling your subconscious what you are, just don't contradict it during the day, and you got
Right.
it. Like, that's it. It's
But
done.
so, and then we come back to the question of, and I know a lot of people have this question, and maybe we can explain it a little bit better. Why don't I just have $1 million?
Yeah.
Why don't I just have the car that I want? Why
think-
don't I just have everything that I could possibly imagine that I want in life if this is the way it works?
Yeah, like then if we discovered this, right, like this is definitely how it works, there has to be two reasons. Either A, or it could be three. Our subconscious believes that we don't have $1 million. And B, we're not feeling whole throughout the day. And C, it could be a combination. So like, but you could even, it's possible to believe that you're a millionaire and then throughout the day contradict it all day. Nothing's going to happen.
Right,
And then-
and we contradict things all day long
Yeah.
without even noticing that
Yeah,
we're doing it.
totally.
You know, like I look at my cable bill and I'm like, man, that $300, I don't
Yeah,
have
that's
that.
a instant contradiction,
Right there.
yeah.
You contradicted it
Our
right
subconscious is
there.
like, wait, what? And you feel
or
anxious.
even, you know, the self-talk of lack. Like you see a nice car drive by that you love and you're like, man, I wish I had that car.
Yeah, it totally implies.
You're right there. You're telling your
Yeah.
subconscious you don't have it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know, those are probably the reasons why.
And it's like an art too, like reframing it during the day. Like one thing I remember with the senior job I got.
Oh yeah, talk about changing the narrative.
Yeah, like I changed the narrative. So like changing the narrative isn't like a technique to get what you want. It's a technique to refrain from feeding the lack.
Right.
So like I would have certain instances where I had this, first of all, I loved everybody I work with, I still do, but he would give me feedback and say, hey, do this or do that, make sure you do this. And there were times where I felt like I wasn't doing a good job because they would point out certain things like that I would forget and certain mistakes that I made a couple times. They weren't the biggest mistakes ever. They really weren't a big deal. But they kept telling me, and at first I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm not doing a good job. Maybe blah, blah, blah. You know, I was seeing it in a light that was negative.
Right.
But I remember sitting on the couch one day and someone was giving me feedback and I was like, you know what? Instead of seeing it as they're criticizing me, I saw it as actually they're kind of grooming me to be a senior because they see potential in me.
Right.
Like if they didn't want to keep me around, why would they even go to the effort of saying, hey, make sure you do this and that? They would be like, oh, he's on his way out.
Right.
So I was like, I reframed it in my head of, oh, actually, this is actually a good sign. And that changed things, and I immediately saw results, just even at work. Like I was like, oh, okay, this is good, and I would respond with, oh, thank you for pointing that out to me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that because
Right.
then it was more like, you're doing me a favor, you're believing in me,
Right.
and like building me up to be a better engineer versus, oh, you're just giving me a hard time.
And yeah, right.
I reframed
Instead
the
of
way I
saying
saw
like,
it.
or thinking to yourself like, oh, I'm not good enough, or they don't think I'm doing a good
Yeah.
job, or whatever.
It was like an instant flip.
Right. So
It
you
totally
totally
changed
changed the narrative, and that's
Yeah, it
something
changed the
that I
narrative,
did
yeah.
too with my situation. Is that, you know, I was telling you yesterday, like people would ask me, because I'm a midwife and I'm a doula, so I work with a lot of pregnant women, and naturally people want to know, like, hey, do you have kids? Why don't you have kids? When the answer is no, you know. And it used to be, before I found out I was pregnant, it used to be, oh, you know, I can't get pregnant, like I have issues, like it's been a long time, you know, like whatever, like feel bad kind of thing. But then it started transitioning to more like, hey, why don't you have kids? oh, well, if I had kids, I wouldn't be able to take care of you. I wouldn't be able to be on call 24/7. I wouldn't be able to leave my house in the middle of the night and stay with somebody in labor for 25 hours. Like, if I had kids, I wouldn't be able to do those things, and I enjoy doing those things. I'm happy in my career. I'm happy with what I do. So it's actually probably a good thing that I don't have kids.
So we both noticed that through our journeys, our successful journeys, that these were the commonalities, the reframing a seemingly a typical 3D trigger into a reinforcement.
Completely into a reinforcement. And that's kind of, I feel like a huge aspect of it is that, like, because this self-talk, like what you're telling your subconscious, it believes.
Yep.
It does. Like, it's very black and white. Like, either your subconscious thinks you have it and that you're happy about it, or it thinks you don't have it and you're sad that you don't have it. So we were telling it, like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm fine with it. Like, I'm content. I'm fulfilled.
Basically, it's not even like what your subconscious believes isn't always what you're seeing. Like, so sometimes people might be like, well, how can my subconscious believe that I'm driving a GTR if I'm driving this piece of shit Toyota every day?
Because it doesn't know what you're
it's
driving.
It's breaking down all the time.
Right.
Yeah, like, but it doesn't know. It only knows what you're feeling.
Right.
So if all day you're feeling, I love my car, and your subconscious is blind. It's only getting like emails. Hey, I'm happy. Hey, I'm happy. It's like, oh, I guess we're happy.
Yeah.
And then at night you're giving it another email. Hey, I'm happy because I'm driving my GTR.
Right.
It's like, oh, yeah. So we picked what we wanted. You obviously have to visualize at some point because you typically do, because you need to make sure that your subconscious understands that protocol,
Right.
like, do this.
And I
You know
definitely
what
visualize, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say that I didn't care anymore about getting pregnant, it's like, obviously when I was so
deep down you
excited,
did.
and I was like, oh my God, how did this even happen?
Yeah,
you know?
It's not like you didn't even want it.
No,
but,
but, you know, like, I still would visualize, like, myself with kids, or, you know, myself with a baby or pregnant or whatever. But the key is, I think, here is that I wasn't trying to. I wasn't like, it wasn't part of a process. It wasn't part of a protocol. There weren't techniques I was trying to implement to make it happen. This was just a very natural process. And I know that the question is always going to be, well, how do you get there?
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it very much started as trying to go through a process. And then I got to a point where I was actually just moving forward with my life. It got to a point where everything that I was doing wasn't to get this one thing. It was just that. Yeah, it was just that I was doing these things, and then I was happy with what I was doing. So I continued to do them. And the things got to a point where it was like, wow, gosh, if I got pregnant now, I actually wouldn't be the best. And I was very happy, but that's what I was saying to myself, because I really believed it. Like, I was happy, you know, I was really fit and I was working out, I was muscular, and I was like, man, my body will be ruined, and then, like, I can't be a midwife because I wouldn't be able to, like, be on call and get up in the middle of the night
your
and do all
subconscious
that.
wasn't taking it as, I don't have a child and I'm happy about it. It only tthinks I'm happy.
No, because I wasn't
complete.
visualizing myself without one.
Right.
I wasn't, because deep down, obviously, I still did want that.
Yeah. It was natural.
There's so many videos, there's so much advice, there's so much stuff out there that people are like, you have to do this. And the other day on TikTok, I was watching, and it was some girl, a manifestation girl, and she's like, we're going to do this sip manifestation technique. She's like, every time you take a sip, you tell yourself that you have this thing. I'm like, what? What are we talking about here? Every time we take a sip? What does that have to do with anything?
Maybe it works because you're drinking a ton of water all day, and that's the only thing you're feeding yourself. You know, I guess. Hey, it works.
I don't know, but my point is that, like, there's so many techniques out there.
Yeah.
And really, it's not as hard as we're making it.
Yeah, we're making it so hard.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. The only time we manifested big things successfully was when we literally weren't manifesting.
Weren't trying.
Yeah, weren't trying.
Like, we didn't even realize that we had manifested.
Yeah, right. Until we came back later and connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But I still remember that, like, I feel like when you are trying to manifest and then you stop and you just start doing things for yourself, you do come to a point where it does feel really profound, like where you have an aha moment, you have an epiphany, and you're like, wow, I actually think I manifested that.
Yeah.
It
happened to me too. When I was like going through this manifestation I have right now of reconciling a relationship, in the past, when I was first trying to do it, I thought, have I ever actually done this before? Like, okay, well, I got that job, and I was like, wait a second, I actually did SATs for that. I'm like, wait, because I thought I just got the job. I forgot that I did SATs.
Right.
Like, it wasn't a process. I just, like, dipped into it. I'm like, let me do SATs. Let me manifest it. And I just, like, forgot about it. Like, I wasn't into manifesting. I was just like, oh, let me try this thing. And then I just naturally forgot about it, but I guess I did it right. Like, I got lucky in the sense of I was already naturally doing the things that were manifesting it without calling it a process.
Right.
Like, I wasn't like, oh, I need to think positive all day. I was literally just trying to make myself feel good.
Right.
Like, whatever makes yourself, like, if you really want something, right? Like, you want your kid, like, I wanted this senior job. I had to find a way to make myself feel good all day because I didn't want to feel bad. Right. So, like, I'm justifying in my head, like, why I deserve it, why I should feel good about my role. And those things that naturally made me feel good were the things that led me to the successful manifestation, because my subconscious was hearing, you feel good, you feel good, you feel good, just because I wanted to feel good. But then the SATs was the thing that really gave it the blueprint. Like, if I didn't do SATs, I don't think I would have the same job. Right. I would be feeling good. Maybe I would. Maybe it would have been later, but I really cemented it. I don't think the hardest thing is giving your subconscious what to do. I think that's actually the easiest thing. I think the hardest thing is feeling good all day.
Feeling complete. That is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing. Yeah, because I feel like everybody gets to a point where they're like, okay, like, all right, I've been feeling good all day, every day, and I'm like, where is it? What's going on? What's going on? And the thing is that you have to remember is that, like, you have to get yourself to a point where you are not trying to feel good all day anymore, where you're not looking for it anymore, where you truly and absolutely 100% authentically are saying, are not even saying to yourself because you're not trying, but authentically fulfilled with where you're at.
Yep.
And that's what, like, we were even talking about living in the end. Like, that's actually living in the end, because the end is like, the end is that feeling where you are completely fulfilled.
Yeah. Like, think about it.
And that's when your manifestation happens.
Like, if you had your child, and if I had my senior job, like let's go for the senior job thing for a second, because I have this senior job right now. My nervous system feels this, my subconscious is getting the same information now as when I had my junior job. It's not an exciting thing anymore. Right. It's just, I'm going to work. Right. It's the same thing.
Right.
But it's different because I, told my subconscious what it was. But people, like, living in the end isn't feel excited all day about this thing.
Right.
It's
of
like,
course.
Feel satisfied and know that my life is handled, because if the thing you really wanted was yours, it would start to just feel normal at some point.
Of course.
Like, there wouldn't be spikes.
It would be, you would just be going through everyday life. Whatever. Yeah, you wouldn't be like, oh, I have to take steps to do this.
Yeah,
like, living in the end is you're just fulfilled.
Just fulfilled, yeah.
You are happy with where you're at.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's actually when the manifestation happens.
And you know what? I think I'm realizing this too. A lot of people say that sometimes when their manifestation lands, their whole life ends up blowing up. And here's why I think why. Because let's call it like manifestation, like checkpoints, right? Every time you successfully manifest something is, when you feel complete, right? It's just unloading the ammunition you gave it. Right. But if you don't feel complete, your manifestations aren't coming. Like, they're not working, right? So sometimes you load up in your subconscious multiple things intentionally or unintentionally. So let's say that, like, I went through some breakup. I got the senior job, but I also had a breakup. Why? Because I accidentally programmed my subconscious to believe that we're splitting up for some reason. But nothing happened yet because I was still feeling in lack all the time. That splitting didn't happen. It didn't manifest because my body wasn't in a state to execute it. So once I felt like regulated and felt happy with everything started shifting because my body was like, okay, we're good to go. We're in manifesting mode. It doesn't know that I don't want to break up.
Right.
It doesn't know that I do want the job. It's just like, oh, what are these things we believe? Okay, time to start doing all of them now because we feel complete.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you feel whole, all the things you believe you are running now. But when you don't feel whole,
right,
all the manifestations just like kind of slow down or halt.
Yeah.
Like because you're not vibing high, you're not executing.
Right.
You know
and you're
what I
not,
mean?
and you're exactly that, and that's a really good point. That's another thing that I thought of too that we were talking about. Okay, so you can be.
I just connected that. I didn't,
No,
didn't even think about that before.
No, that's makes a lot of sense.
Right? Yeah.
Well, and there's also, remember we were talking about why right before your manifestation comes, do things start falling apart?
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about that too.
Yeah, we didn't come up with a reason fully.
Well, we were saying that because for your life to change completely.
Yeah, I know you're going with this. Yeah.
Things something else in your life has to change.
Yeah.
Right? And that might not actually feel very good in the moment, but say you lost your job and you're miserable and so upset about it at that moment, but then you get another job that's 10 times better than the job that you lost, right? And then that brings you to the point of fulfillment. That brings you to the point of living in the end. Maybe you couldn't live in the end with that other job because it wasn't as good as this job. You know?
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like
so,
you weren't in. Yeah, we need to call a name for this because I think we're realizing this. Like, yeah.
We should.
Like a mode where your body's like executing.
Yeah, you're
like
good at coining names. You should do that.
Like when you're like, because you're like, I guess you're manifesting all the time, but you're not optimally executing. Like
you're not right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless you're like high vibe.
And that could be another reason why everyone doesn't have $1 million and everyone doesn't have the car that they want and everyone doesn't have, because it's not. You're not vibing with all of those different things.
That's where like gratitude and everything comes in. Like gratitude and being happy with your life allows everything in.
Right.
It just like literally allows it.
Right.
It's so interesting. Like these things that you hear before, you're like, I don't get it. Like there's like, oh, be grateful. It's like, how can you just like, okay, like, but what does that have to do with I want this thing? Like it's like,
and it also changes your mindset though. It changes your mindset completely from like I don't have to I have. Like I do a gratitude practice every day, like every morning and every night. I'm like, I'm grateful for Jason. I'm grateful for Lolo. I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for a home. I'm grateful for a car that works. I'm grateful for my work, money. The list goes on and on. Like we could have gratitude for 100 things in our lives, but it changes your mindset from like, oh, poor me, I don't have this, to no, I'm happy, I do have this. True. And it is directly speaking to your subconscious when you're doing, because think about it, it goes back to what we were just talking about. If you're saying, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish I had the other thing, you're telling your subconscious that you don't have anything good in your life. Yeah. But then when you are grateful for the 100 things you do have, you're telling your subconscious like, oh, I'm super happy with all of the great things that I have in my life. And so you just keep manifesting more and more great things.
Because you feel whole and content.
Exactly.
And like that's the best place to be.
Exactly. And there's proof of that in that, like you were telling me last night, like that there had been situations where, you were trying to manifest something and you did do sats and you just let it go. And then like you were getting signs and things were happening and all of that. And then what happened?
And then nothing happened. It fizzled
Why did
off.
nothing happen?
I think the biggest thing was I started to say, oh, this is real. Like this is really happening. And my subconscious goes, wait, what do you mean? Like, what are we excited about?
Because you started getting back into the whole, oh, okay, yeah, I really want this, and I'm excited that I'm getting these signs, and then you're just like what you said, your subconscious was like, What do you mean?
Yeah, I was so
like,
confused.
I thought we already had what
If
we
you're
wanted.
getting emails for like 2 weeks saying, "Oh, I'm writing to you from, Florida," and then all of a sudden you're like, send another email like, "Yeah, I can't wait to go to Florida."
Like,
Wait,
what?
whoa. So, wait, I'm confused. Like, I was giving it mixed signals.
Right.
When I was giving it a clear signal for weeks, and then I started saying, "Oh, what's happening?" It's like, what's happening? We already
Like,
have
I thought
the
you
relationship.
were in Florida. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So that, I mean, I feel like that is proof right there.
Yeah, totally.
Of everything that we're talking about. Because how on earth are you trying to manifest this thing, and you start getting all these signs because you let it go.
And movement, like actual movement,
like real
from the person
movement,
that
not
was
just
trying to get
signs,
movement
right?
from. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just
yeah.
signs, like actual real live movement.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then you got in your head,
predictably,
right?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my God, does this happen?
Yeah, I remember I woke up and I was like excited. I'm like, oh my God, like she really
See?
texted me. Like,
See?
and I predicted the day that she would do it. Like, I knew that every 3 days in increasing intensity, I would get movement or a sign.
Right.
And it was happening. And then after that happened, I'm like, oh my God, like this is for real. Like, we're really going to be back together and all that
Right.
stuff. And then, I choked it out with that. And then it fizzled off. And then.
And that's, I mean, I think that's proof right there.
Oh, yeah,
that
total. Yeah.
What we're saying is the way it really works.
Yeah.
Because you saw it. Like,
Yeah, I saw it firsthand, and other people saw it. Like,
Right.
they literally saw it. I was like, something's gonna happen tomorrow.
Right.
I know it for a fact.
Right.
Nothing happens for months, and then my specific person texts me that day.
Yeah.
That I knew it was gonna happen.
Right.
Like, that's like unheard of.
But you had set it and forget it before that.
Right. Before I was doing sats for like 3 weeks, and I got super neutral. So my subconscious was like, oh, okay. Like, we're good. All right. Like, we're here. I got the message. And then I started living in the end because I felt so neutral. So my subconscious was like, oh, shit, all right. We're really this now.
Yeah.
But then I started to, like, doubt crept in slightly.
Doubts.
And where is it?
And, right.
And, watching for it.
Right. Looking for the sign.
Totally
it's like, okay,
looking.
it's the third day. Where is it?
Right.
And then if the sign didn't appear, you're like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Why isn't this happening?
And everything's delayed too. So like when I was making the mistake, certain things were already queued up and were playing out. And then I made the mistake too early.
Yes.
And it was like, damn,
Yes.
I
Yes.
should have just like, I should. But it's good because we know now
Right.
what these things really do, like what it looks like in
Right.
practice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So the key is to set it and forget it. Like you
Yeah,
said.
basically.
Like doing sats at night.
Yeah.
And then during the day, literally just forgetting about it.
Yeah, like it's handled.
Live
like,
your
yeah,
life. It's handled. It's done. You told your subconscious at night, this is what's happening. This is what's going on in my life. And then during the day, you're telling your subconscious, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, like focus on yourself.
I'm happy with that situation.
It's already in the progress,
Right.
so why would you sit around waiting? Like, if you knew I'm doing sats now, and you knew in 2 weeks you were going to have what you want for sure, wouldn't you be like, all right, I'm just going to enjoy myself because I know it's
You
coming.
would.
You're not
You
going to
would.
sit around being like, I'm going to wait for it. Like, you're going to
Exactly.
go get food, and you're going to watch
Right.
TV, and you're going to work, and be
Right.
like, yes.
Just like,
know?
when you're going on vacation. So, I'm going on vacation to the Bahamas, You're not just going to sit around in your house for the next 2 weeks until
Yeah.
you go on vacation.
No.
You're not going to be like, oh man, I can't
gonna be
wait till I
worried
go on
about it.
vacation.
Yeah.
And I hope everything's going to be fine. And I hope that I bring enough clothes. And I
Yeah.
hope, I
gonna
hope
worry
it
about
doesn't
that.
rain. You're not going to worry about all those things. You're going to go about your life and you're like, guess what? I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. I'm going to the Bahamas. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And you're going to go to work and you're going to go out with your friends and you're going to do whatever it is you would normally do.
'Cause it's
You're
set.
not going to not going to worry about that.
Yeah, like worrying about it just chokes it out. And it's
Exactly.
Like, oh.
And
Like,
again, telling your subconscious that there is an obstacle.
Yeah,
like
there
if
is
you
no
want to go to
obstacle.
the Bahamas, but you're sitting on your couch worrying if it's going to rain on your vacation, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You're creating an obstacle. You would normally just go, and then if it rains, you find something else to do.
Yeah. You never worry.
You never worry about
Yeah.
it. You're happy you're going on vacation. You know that thing is coming.
And
for
I
you.
like the rain, so I'd be happy. If it rained.
But it's so true. Like, that thing is coming. You know that vacation's happening. And that's the way
Yeah.
you have to look at your manifestation. Whatever it is you're trying to manifest, you know it's coming. You know it's happening.
For sure. If you do sats at night, The only thing that can stop it is if you're contradicting all day. Like, that's literally it.
Right.
Because, like, if you're feeling good and you do sats, like, dude,
right.
it has to.
It has
There's
to.
nothing you can do.
And we can contradict ourselves during the day and not even notice it.
Yeah, that's another thing that
like
drives
I
me
said,
actually
like,
crazy.
say you're trying to manifest your dream car, and then you're driving down the street and you're like, oh, there's my dream car, damn.
Yeah, and then you quick flash.
And then quit. And, like, you don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And those are the things that get in the way of it.
Yeah,
and you might be sitting around saying, well, I've been doing all this and I'm happy and I'm living in the end, and that, you probably have had some obstacles along the way that you didn't even notice.
That's like kind of like, so we discovered like the big things, but these are kind of like, we figured out the macro,
right.
strategy, but what's like the micro strategy? Like, okay, you can reframe things, but there's also like minute details that happen during the day that's so hard to tell when they're happening.
Right.
And it's like, well, what degree of, oh, I see the car, oh yeah, I'm like, damn, I contradicted. But it wasn't intense, but is that enough? And I feel like, okay, well, you definitely don't have to be perfect, because everyone manifests big things.
Of course.
So you don't have to be perfect, but reducing them is key. But then oftentimes, people go into, well, where am I, contradicting, blah, 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 and then they start analyzing, and then they start introducing resistance because they're like, where is it? What am I doing wrong?
And then that's where the resistance is happening, because now you're analyzing. No, I think that the whole key to that is, okay, you saw your dream car go by and you went, damn, I wish I had that car. And then you caught it and you noticed. I think that noticing and being mindful is the first step in making those changes.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the second step is reframing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Reframe it. Like, damn, I wish I had that car. No, damn, I wish I had a white car. Because maybe your car's black.
Yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be like hard to flip.
Because no, it doesn't have to be hard at all. You could just change the way that you said it. You can just, or again, like, I think even just being mindful of it is the first step.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like we both noticed certain things that we flipped, and those were probably the big parts. Like because your job being a doula and dealing with pregnancies, that was probably the main trigger. Was when people asked about it.
100%.
But you flipped that main trigger, and that was probably like one of the best things you could have done.
I think that was huge. I think that probably had a big. I think that was probably huge for it. I really do, because when you change that narrative, when you start telling yourself that there's a positive reason for why you don't have what you want yet, that's huge.
Like, you can rationalize in your head, like you can think during the day, I don't have this yet because of this, as long as it's not translating to a feeling of lack.
No,
right? You know what I mean?
No, of course.
But that's
right.
Yeah.
So you're not feeling that way.
Yeah.
You're just changing a narrative.
Right.
The narrative
to neutralize the negative reaction.
The narrative for me was always like, oh, poor me. Like, there's, this has such a negative impact on my life that I don't have this. But then it switched to, no, this is a good thing for me. I get to have my career. I get to do what I love doing. I get to support women, like, in labor and birth. Like, I wouldn't be able to do those things if I had that thing that I wanted.
And how it translated to your subconscious wasn't, oh, I don't have this thing and I'm happy without it. It just translates to, oh, I'm in a conversation, it feels like, and I feel happy.
Right.
Like, where I would typically around this time, like, typically when I go through these conversations with so-and-so, I typically feel this anxiety. But now I feel happy.
Right.
So
I feel happy because I did. That's the thing, is that I authentically did.
Yeah.
I authentically felt happy. It wasn't something I was trying to convince myself of. You know what I mean? So I authentically was like, if I did have a newborn right now, I would never be able to be away from my home for 20 hours with somebody in labor. That wouldn't be possible.
So basically...
And then that actually would have made me sad,
The biggest thing that I feel like if I talked to you during that time, you would have said the same thing. You probably, like, the biggest thing you can do is, after you do SATs, is literally just regulate your nervous system. That's literally what it comes down to.
Right.
Like, you no longer were getting triggered.
Right.
You totally neutralized
That's
the
the
triggers. You
thing.
felt good all day.
The triggers all day
Yeah.
long is what sets you into those thoughts of lack constantly.
And just like
Because you see your trigger
spirals,
and you're like, damn, I don't have that. Damn, I don't have that. Damn, I wish I had that. So managing those triggers and regulating your nervous system. But the key is also, a lot of keys here, the key is also, how do you manage your triggers? Because,
that's
like
the hard thing.
That's the hard part,
Yeah.
because we live in the world. There are triggers. There just are. Like for me, imagine if like I couldn't ever be around people who had families.
Yeah, I know, right.
That's impossible.
Yeah, it's your job. Yeah.
So managing the triggers is something that you have to
life.
kind of figure out on your own, like how you react, because your reaction is a big deal.
Exactly.
And being mindful of your reaction when you come across your triggers.
Reacting seems to be the biggest thing. Like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because when I reacted when my specific person reached out, that, probably screwed it up.
Right.
In addition to a couple other things. But it's like, you stopped reacting to, oh, why don't you have kids? I stopped reacting to criticism at work.
Right.
Like, I stopped feeding the nonsense. I stopped feeding this, like, demon of lack and started feeding the angel of abundancy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
I
what
like
are
that.
you feeding?
The demon of lack and the angel of abundance.
I cut it off. I'm like, you're done, dude.
Yes.
You're out of here. Like, I'm not giving you any more.
Exactly.
Like,
And you
energy.
have to, because I know I keep saying this, but mindfulness is such a big part of that. Like being mindful.
And
What
aware.
are you feeding your subconscious? What are you constantly telling yourself?
For sure.
If you are constantly telling yourself that you don't have anything good and you don't have the things that you want in your life, your subconscious believes that wholeheartedly.
And you know what, you're feeding the lack, or your subconscious is in lack, when you feel that like tightness in your chest.
Yes.
You're like thinking of what you want, and you're like, ugh, and you're like restless. Oh my God, I hate that.
Restless, or you're, I know for me, like I start crying, or I'm moody, or I'm irritable, or I'm like mad at everybody. You know,
100%.
when you're doing it, you can feel it.
I know this manifestation I'm working on right now is going to happen, because my nervous system this past week has been so regulated.
Yeah.
Like even when I think some of those negative thoughts, just to see, which I shouldn't be doing, just to see, is this for real? I don't react at all.
Yeah.
Like, my subconscious is sold. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know what I've been doing this past week. Maybe it's just the amount of time I've been listening to these like audios of me saying what I want. I've been really like focusing on not feeding the lack story.
It's mindfulness.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
for
huge,
sure.
because I also have, my nervous system feels really regulated this week too. And I have really been focusing on being mindful of what I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
Being mindful of how I'm reacting to things.
Were there certain things recently that you kind of like flipped that kind of made a difference?
I mean, I do keep flipping the whole, so of course we all want more money, you know, but there's definitely been, like, I'm in a situation where better finances would be helpful. So, I mean, I keep telling myself, like, even though, like, this week at work wasn't as busy as I was hoping, wasn't as busy as I thought it was going to be, and I keep telling myself, it's okay. Like, it's done. Like, there's nothing to worry about. And I'm truly believing it. Like, I truly believe it. Like, there isn't anything to worry about.
Because, like, worrying doesn't actually do anything
No,
good
worrying is you're just making something up in your head. You're actually just making up an entire world of, I call it what if world. Like,
I hate what if world.
What if
Place
this
sucks.
happens? What if that? I know, it sucks. Like, who wants to travel there? It's really a shitty town.
Yeah, don't round trip.
But what if world? Like, what if I don't have enough money to pay my bills? What if, whatever. You could do what ifs about the past too. You know, like, what if I had said something differently to that person? Or what if, you know,
yeah,
like,
I know.
the list goes on and on. What if world really sucks?
And this is another thing that, like, people, like, I've listened to Abraham Hicks in the past. She always talks about this. Like, she calls them launching rockets. Like, when she calls it VR, I guess, when you're visualizing something, you're launching rockets, okay? And then, when you feel good, you're attracting everything. In this way, you're saying, like, if you can monitor the traffic that's going on in your head, you get better at deciphering what's going in and what's going out.
Right.
And you can more accurately feel good. Basically, when you feel good all day, like, that's when you're getting everything your subconscious thinks it has. Like,
right.
It's
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes right back to the basics that we were talking about. SATs and feeling good all day.
There's
and not
another,
getting attached.
Oh, yeah, I know. Sometimes some of those things just take time. Like,
Of
you just have
course
to
they
do
take
SATs and ignore it, and you just have to let the pulsating, like, wound kind of die down and heal.
Of course.
You know what
that
I mean?
takes time. And
Sometimes it takes
absolutely.
just
I
takes
don't
time.
want anybody to think that we're just saying, like, set it and forget it, like, it's no big deal.
Yeah, we get it.
It's a big deal. This doesn't happen overnight. You don't just do SATs at night and feel great all day and that's it.
No.
Like, no. This
It's
is
a
something that
process.
you work through. It's a process.
Yeah.
And starting with mindfulness, in my opinion, is really the way to do it.
100%.
Like, doing your SATs at night. And listen, SATs at night isn't always going to work either, because I just recently we were talking about, like, some really weird situations where I was doing SATs and then, like, these negative visualizations came up, and, it was just so, like, you shouldn't feel bad about not being able to do any of these things.
Right,
Like, it's really all about baby steps.
Because you're a person. Like, you have to remember, like, just think, even if you don't get your thing that you wanted or whatever, like, how many times did you think something was the end of the world? Someone dumps you or something, or you lost something, and then you're still here.
Right.
Now you're worried about other things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
it's so
really
funny to
not.
think about that, like, because there have been so many situations I've been in where, I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. My life is over. This is horrible.
Yeah.
And, like, here I am years later and everything's fine. Like, that wasn't even a problem, Like, yes, it felt like the end of the world at the moment, but everything's fine. So when you're worrying about things, just remember that, like, it's something that's just happening in the moment right now.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's not a forever thing.
Yeah.
But I think the key is baby steps and being gentle with yourself when you do screw up.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you give yourself such a hard time, you just make it worse.
You just make it worse.
Totally agree.
That doesn't help. Like, what is that
Totally agree.
helping? So you have to
I've
give
done it
yourself
so
grace.
wrong before. You're
Because
so right.
you are human. Like,
Yeah.
like, this isn't an easy thing to do. And that's a big reason why we're not all walking around with $1 million.
Yeah.
And we're not
Yeah,
all
for
walking around. Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
To live in this world with a bunch of trauma and
I know.
conditionings. Like, we're being conditioned constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly. Things being fed to our subconscious that we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
even know
That's
is
another
being
thing.
fed to our subconscious.
Yeah.
So, like, to try to, like, work through all of those things and, like, get to a point where you're fully fulfilled and happy with where you are right now.
Yeah, like,
that's hard to do.
Because then, like, when something's screaming at your face, like, if you're at work all day and people are giving you a hard time at work and your manifestations have this new, better job that you make a bunch of money, it's like, how am I going to feel better at work all day when they're screaming out my face and I hate my colleagues and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's like, dude, that's understandable. Like,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. All of this takes practice. But I think
100%.
really what we want people to walk away from this with is that baby steps are okay. It's easy. Like, you can just little by little, like, start reframing the narrative.
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
little by little, like, just replace a negative thought about yourself or your situation with a positive thought. When you find yourself having a negative thought, just replace it with a positive one. Like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, whatever. And then catching yourself, like, wait a minute, I do. I have everything I want. I am happy in my life.
And you don't have to feel like, oh, what would it really feel like if I had it? It's just like the feeling of relief of I don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to
like,
worry
that's
about
enough.
it.
Like,
Exactly.
People
exactly.
confuse, like, oh, what do I really have to feel? Like, feeling okay.
Right.
Feeling
Right.
just
Yeah.
like that.
And it might
enough.
feel forced at first.
Yeah.
But like as you do that and you start doing more and more things that make you happy, like maybe even changing your routine.
Oh yeah, that
I
makes a
think
big
that
difference too.
that makes a big difference.
And like getting out, like not sitting at your home, like if you feel lonely or whatever, like you're in your head at home, like I
keeping
get out of the house.
keeping yourself away
Yeah.
from situations where you're just gonna sit
Yeah.
and think constantly.
Oh my God.
I know for me,
Yeah.
like I don't actually like being home alone because
Yeah, me
I
either.
do think a lot when
Yeah,
I'm
me
home
too.
by myself.
100%.
And then like the thoughts start spiraling and they're negative thoughts and they're but I catch myself. I'm like, you know what? I gotta get out here. I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna go out, or I'm gonna go whatever.
Yeah.
And I think catching yourself is a really big part of it.
Oh yeah. Like I used to think that my thoughts didn't matter. I would try to feel good, but I wasn't worried about feeling good. I was worried about figuring out the truth. But now I understand. You don't even entertain the things that you don't want.
Right.
Like entertain the thoughts of things you do want. Like if you know that your thoughts create reality, why are you thinking anything negative? Like that's like half the battle already, because then okay, this actually matters.
Right.
The times where I am choosing to, I'm now going to choose to think the good
Right.
things. And then you are being mindful during the day. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you catch the things that you wouldn't have caught before. Like I notice
Exactly.
the times where I feel
Yeah.
the negativity. First of all, in the morning, if I don't set the tone right in the morning, dude, it's
100%.
It's not good.
No,
for the first
same.
hour or two, I need to be like, yeah, I'm good, I'm great. Like I need to feel good.
If you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, man, this is going to be a shitty day.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
It's gonna be a
true.
shitty day.
If you feel a negative thought
It
or
is.
entertain it for more than like 20 seconds,
Yes.
dude, don't do it.
No,
Like-
you have to change it. And again, coming back to like living in the end is basically when you get to the point where you have moved forward and you've moved on from the thing that you're trying to manifest. You're actually technically not even trying to manifest it anymore.
Yeah.
You're actually not.
Yeah, because
And that's the point
if you
where
feel
you're
good,
living in the end.
I feel like there's 3 stages. There's the first stage if something bad happens or whatever. This is typically, something bad happens, you feel horrible about it, and there's a ton of resistance. So the first most important thing is you need to clear the resistance, and that's all. You live in the end all day by ignoring it, and then you visualize at night when you fall asleep. And you do that for like however long it takes to feel neutral. But once you start to feel neutral and you start to feel like I don't really care if it happens anymore, you're like in receiving mode.
Right.
You're like, at that point, you're basically locked in. As long as you don't do anything damaging. Like, as long as you keep feeling good all day and you keep feeding that, like.
But you're open.
Yeah.
You're to the point where you're open.
Then, okay, but after the resistance is cleared, like basically either it could be not caring about it as much or believing you have it, whatever way gets you to like clearing the resistance. After the resistance is cleared, then you have like the clean slate of, okay, now I can make sure that what I'm putting in my subconscious is going to happen. Like now I need to make sure the intention is set correctly.
Right.
And that's the time to like make sure you do sats, like, or whatever visualizing works for you. But like, for me, it's that. And for a lot of people.
And visualization too, because I do a lot of visualization during meditation.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really helpful for me too. And that's where
it also feels good too. Like,
and it does.
enforcing
It does.
it,
It's reinforcing it.
Yeah.
But I also think that sats, like, I think you can do meditation visualization, but I almost feel like you really should do sats.
Yeah.
Because at night
so
is
too.
when your subconscious is most open to that.
Yeah. Especially when when you're falling into sleep or
just
coming
as
out
you're
of it.
falling into sleep.
Yeah, it's like so
that's
powerful.
Right, it's so powerful.
It's
and like
insane.
we talked about that I was telling you that Salvador Dali did that.
Oh,
and, what's his
that's
face?
that's so interesting.
Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
They both
We'll
did
do
it. So
that.
they would like sit in a chair, and they had like a ring of keys, and they would start to fall asleep in the chair. And just when you get to that point, like where you're in between awake and asleep, they would drop the keys, of course, because they were falling asleep. And that's when they woke up, and that's when their most brilliant ideas came to their heads.
Because they were dipping into the subconscious and getting those
They were-
ideas
right.
and coming right back up.
Right.
Instead
They were
of
going
like
into
falling asleep.
was it the theta?
The hypnic. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the hypnagogic state.
Yeah.
The theta waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just so interesting. So think about how powerful that is if you are actually doing your visualizations during that time.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there were so many times where I fell asleep when I was doing sats, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I realized that I was dreaming about that thing I was thinking about like nonstop.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god, like it's crazy. Like you can't control your thoughts when you're dreaming.
No.
I mean, so you typically dreaming,
yeah,
but
yeah.
typically not.
Typically
you know what I
not,
mean?
right.
So it's like, wow, like there were times when I would have dreams and I could see the person's face so vividly. I could never even imagine that if I tried.
Right, and
like,
most of the time in dreams, you can't see faces. I mean, most people can't.
Yeah.
Like faces, like you have
Not
a general
typical for me.
idea who the person is.
Yeah, you just know
like
who
your
it is.
subconscious
Yeah.
knows who it is, but like you can't see the face really vividly.
Yeah.
I mean, and most people probably would agree with this.
Yeah.
That's the case for most people. But like, yeah, you could
or like
see
hearing
the
songs.
face
Remember
vividly.
the song thing that happened?
Yes.
It was like I heard this song in my sleep. Like I was falling asleep and I heard some song. Like I guess I was in the state that Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali were in, like where they were in that hypnagogic state. I entered that, but I naturally woke up on accident, and there was a song that was playing, and I heard it, and I sang it into like a voice memo on my phone, and I showed you and some other people the next day, and they were like, oh, I've heard this song before. And I was like, really? This is a song? And then they pulled it up, and the lyrics were the same thing that I heard in my sleep.
Yes.
I recorded it differently when I recorded it.
But you said that was
but
actually...
those are actually the lyrics
right,
I heard.
That was the lyric that you heard.
It was like,
it was
do
one
you
word.
realize,
it was
or something like that.
Do you realize... Or, no, you were saying, can you clarify?
I was saying, can you clarify? Because I was
Yes.
changing the lyrics to be more of something creative
No,
that
but
I
it
wanted to
made
make.
sense though,
But
because
I heard
like,
those
yes,
lyrics.
but the lyrics were, do you realize?
Yeah.
And then like you were saying, can you clarify? Because maybe you really didn't hear
yeah.
the words
Yeah.
properly.
I was having like a
And
conversation
then you were talking
with
to
the
your
universe,
friend,
yeah.
and she was like, no, the words are, do you realize? And it was just like a whole thing, because you like in your sleep, you may not have been able, because of the way dreams are, to hear what the lyrics were. And so in your subconscious, you were saying, can you clarify? Yes,
and then like the 3D gave me this whole thing, like, oh, this is really a song.
Created an entire situation for you to find out what the
Christina,
song was.
right?
It was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so crazy.
And Christina's also the person that predicted with me that
Yes.
my specific person was going to text me on
I
a
think
certain day. That was weird.
we have like some sort of like messengers for our manifestations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like people play these roles like,
right.
it's so weird.
Right.
However that happened. And then
Right.
one time she gave me when I was living in the yen, she gave me a chocolate wrapper that said your affirmation's working, and I was like, how do you know I've been doing it this week? Like,
Right?
of all these weeks, just this week.
I think we definitely have messenger,
That's
and then
crazy.
like we've had plenty of conversations
Oh,
where
plenty,
I think both of us were like,
I mean, this whole thing has
had
started
very
from it.
profound moments
Oh,
just
yeah.
from that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing started
Like,
because of that.
I
Like,
wouldn't have connected half of these dots if we didn't have that conversation.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like you reach this point where you don't care anymore, like that means your subconscious thinks you have it. And that was, we both said that the times we got our big manifestations were
Right.
when we were like, I don't care anymore.
Right, and
I
it's
feel
funny
fine.
because like I almost felt compelled to tell you that, so that like you could be reminded or understand better like what you needed to do, because I mean both the stories that I told you are very personal stories. I haven't told anybody else, not very many people, but like I
me
felt
either.
like it was necessary to tell you so that we could work through like how it actually happened and how it works.
Yeah. It was like, the universe was giving me, or God was giving me this kind of like feedback and be like, okay, you're ready for this, or like,
Right.
this is what needs to play out right now for you
Right.
to realize these things.
Right.
So,
And I think that was so important.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And it's just kind of like a reminder too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I needed it because I was so confused. I'm like, am I visualizing all day, and then I'm making all this like
Right.
anxiety and resistance? And
Right.
I'm just like, oh my god, like,
Right.
what the hell?
Well,
Like,
me too. And like
I just want to figure it out.
I haven't been visualizing all day, but like I do it a lot during my during my meditation, and also like I do find myself every once in a while being like, okay, like I've been doing this. Where is it? You know, like
this is getting a little too long. Why do I still feel horrible?
Right. Yeah. And so I think that like us having that conversation last night too was really important for me also, that to like remind me like, hey, this is how you did it last time. Remember, like you gotta do that again.
It's like you can still do it. Like
basically reminding me, and I have to, and that's what I'm moving forward doing. Like I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and move myself forward, you know, change my routine and like make sure that my self-talk is positive and that I'm reframing the way that I think about things so that I can just move forward, and not because I'm trying to manifest.
Just to feel better is the goal.
Just to generally feel better. Like, don't we all want to feel freaking better?
Like, I feel so much better that I've been doing this. Like, we had this conversation. I was like, I don't need to force visualizing all day.
Right.
I just need to not focus on it.
Right.
Just live my life and find peace doing whatever I want to do. Right. Like focusing on yourself.
That's the key. That's it right there. Find peace in doing whatever you want to do. What
and now
do you
I feel
want to
peace.
do?
Like I feel
What
fine.
do you want to do? You want to go out and do whatever it is that makes you happy, and that thing will come to you.
Yep. It has to. And that's why I feel so great now, because like I physically feel great now.
Right.
Like my nervous, like I don't even care if it doesn't even happen anymore. Right. Like I don't.
Well, because
like,
and the thing is that
now.
sometimes like something even bigger or better than what we're trying to manifest is what happens. You know?
Well, that's true too.
Like,
I mean, because I imagined through SATs that I was getting promoted at my current job, but what actually ended up happening was a different job reached out, and I ended up getting it from somewhere else. It was the same reality.
And like, what we're trying to like manipulate the universe to tell it like, I want this exact thing, but what if the thing that's coming to you is something 10 times better?
Sure. And that's another
thing.
And it
is something. Yeah. Is coming to you, whether it's the exact thing you want or something 10 times better, it is coming. But if you're limiting that, like that's actually a limiting belief, trying to manifest the exact thing that you want.
True, like my happiness depends on this exact thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
it's almost like a codependency.
I took the job because I was like, whatever. Like I didn't care anymore. I was like, cool, sure. Like, I wasn't even like, oh, manifesting. I was like, if I get this job, okay, cool.
And that's why it happened.
Yeah.
That's why it happened.
And it wasn't like, keeping track of it. Like, I just was like, I moved on.
Right.
Like, that was the other thing we talked about. Like, I felt like I moved on from it. Like, I was like, oh, the senior thing, like, whatever.
Like, you almost forget about it.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
I forgot about it when I forgot about the pregnancy. Like, not that it was, like, I forgot about pregnancy. Obviously, I'm a midwife.
But you forgot it was a desire
I forgot that it was a desire. I forgot that like I was just so involved in what I was doing for myself.
Yeah.
That when all of a sudden, like my period was late, I was like, "This is weird." Like that.
That was probably such a crazy.
I know that's
moment.
not possible. Like it was so crazy. Because it was like 2 weeks. It got to the point where it was 2 weeks later. I'm like, what? This is so strange. Like, I almost thought there was something wrong with, like, health-wise, because I was so far past thinking that I could be pregnant.
What made you think, like, okay, I actually could be pregnant? Like, what was the thing? Because you knew, like, oh, I can't get pregnant.
Yeah. Well, what made me think...
Yeah, like, what it made you think, hey, I actually need to, like, take a test. Like,
well, because it was 2 weeks, like, and my cycles are like on point. Like, there's no being late, and that had never happened to me. I was like, this is so weird. Is there something wrong, like health wise? Like, is that
so
like
crazy?
It was gone from my mind. That's how far gone it was. That's how moved on I had gone.
Wow.
Like it was, and then like I think a few more days went by after the 2 weeks, and I was like, I mean, should I take a test? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is weird. And I took the test, and that was, like, mind-blowing. I'm like,
I wish I could have seen that moment where you were like, what the
that's
hell?
Crazy. Like, that's impossible.
23 years.
23 years.
That's insane. That was probably like the craziest moment.
I had moved so far on that I didn't even consider that that was happening.
But the other interesting thing too was probably like weeks after you felt like, I don't even care anymore. Like just weeks.
It was.
I had to have been.
It was weeks, because I remember the exact moment when I was in my room doing yoga, and I was like, man, I am so happy with where I am in my life right now. Like, I'm so happy with like how healthy I am and my career and everything is good. I remember that moment. And then like 2 weeks later, we went on vacation. We went to my niece's wedding. That's when we conceived. We were having fun. Like, we were having a great time. We were on vacation, you know, and that's what happens. Like, you're not worrying about anything.
Yeah, you're not like
you're
wondering.
not worrying about anything. And then it was like a few weeks after that where, you know, I missed my period or whatever. And during that whole time, I was so satisfied with everything that was going on in my life. And I truly was like, that's not possible. That's definitely not what's going on. There's something health-wise wrong with me.
I think like when you successfully give the command to your subconscious and you feel full, I feel like it can't take long. Like these things don't take more than like a couple weeks.
They don't, and it was only a couple weeks.
Yeah, but
a
lot
like
of
it had happened a couple weeks later. I didn't know it yet.
But a lot of the work leading up to that, like sometimes does take time. Like it might take months or years to even get to the point where you're like, I feel okay.
To the point where you're like, you're past all of your wounds. You've actually healed. You know, like that's what takes forever.
Yeah. So I guess we can we're just gonna conclude it there. But this is the basic architecture and understanding of what leads to a positive.
We just wanted to lay down in as simplified format as we possibly could, the basics of what we did to manifest the things that we wanted without even actually really trying.
Yeah.
So the general idea is, like, again, we say this, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Doing your sats at night, doing your visualization at night as you're falling asleep, and then during the day, literally as much as you possibly can, just feeling happy with where you're at.
Those fish.
Feeling happy with where you're at. You know, not
basically
telling your subconscious that you're unhappy with the thing that you visualized. That's the last thing you want.
That's what happened for both of us. That's literally how it happened.
Right.
How they successfully happened.
Right. You want to visualize what it is that you want in your life, and then tell your subconscious during the day that that is a good thing, that's the thing you want.
Yeah.
Instead of telling your subconscious that that's a bad thing, that's a thing you don't have.
Yeah.
Right? You never want to tell your subconscious, oh, that thing that I showed you last night, I don't have it.
Yeah.
Don't want to tell your subconscious
You want to let it believe that, hey, this is what I have and I feel good all day.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've both done it ourselves, and we just really want to help everybody else to figure out how to do it too. And we're totally here for questions, like leave comments, whatever, and we'll come back and we'll do another one and answer questions. We're probably going to go live soon too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
More questions the better, because then we can actively answer them in a real time and really dig into it.
Right.
Because we both had certain experiences. It's greater to see, okay, well, what are the common, like if you have a certain question, we can say, okay, did we both have a consensus
and that's
on
how
that
we
thing?
And that's how we got into this conversation, is that like I was telling him, hey, this is what I did, and he was saying, well, hey, this is what I did, and we were like, well, shit, we both were doing the same thing.
We had the same results, like the same signs and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, comment, questions, whatever, and we're happy to answer them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I love, helping people figure it out too.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
cool.
We'll see you next time.